Hey gang, I'm James. Welcome to 1060 Machine. Alright guys, I got a quick shop project that I've been kind of had on the back burner for a while. I got this gigantic 3-inch travel Starrett indicator and a batch of tooling. Honestly, can't remember where or when. But yeah, I've had it for years kicking around a toolbox. I didn't really have any specific purpose for it. I had a 2-inch indicator that I used to use on the Hardenge. I realized that would be a perfect indicator to use on the Monarch, on the carriage or to measure carriage travel and set kind of Z-stops and all that. So that's what we're going to do today, is make a little mag back holder for the Monarch to adapt this indicator to. I wanted to show you guys just kind of for frame of reference. This is a standard 0 to 1 that everybody's seen before. Try to hold the whole thing in frame. It's kind of difficult. It's a big indicator. So yeah, this 3-incher, like I said, I think will be perfect for the Monarch carriage. So I'm gonna go over to the Hardenge and start turning some aluminum out. All right, guys, we're over at the lathe. Got this chunk of aluminum cut out to make the body of this indicator. Actually, I already had this kind of indicated in before I started making the video, and then undid it, kind of reset my jaws a little bit. I'm told the YouTube algorithm loves 4-jaw content, so I remember when I first got into this, this being kind of mesmerizing to me too, how people were able to get things dialed in so quick on a 4-jaw, and it still kind of is, I suppose. But so yeah. Anyway, I took the stock out and reset it so I could take you guys along for this 4-jaw indicating. This is not super duper critical. This is a 3-inch chunk. I'm taking a 1/4 inch off of the OD, so close enough is close enough, but I still want to get it within a few thou. So running out, I don't know, 60 or so there. So first things first, go around, make sure all 4 are tight, and then loosen the lows. So when you're indicating stuff kind of in this standard arrangement where you're clamped on the outside of the part and you're indicating the outside of a round part as opposed to a bore, or if you're clamped on the inside, the sort of dummy test is loosen the lows, tighten the highs, loosen the lows, because they both start with L, right? At least that's how I remember it. So yeah, loosen the lows, tighten the highs, get it close. We're within, I don't know, 10 thou. It's got some. All right, loosening the lows. Yeah, I don't know, probably 20 thou run out there. Now I'm within 10-ish. When you start to get close, probably not quite close enough, but when you start to get within a couple, thou or 2, 3, something like that, you can take that last little bit out by just tightening the highs as opposed to loosening the lows, and kind of sneak up on your sort of this final couple thou that you wanna get dialed in. So I'm within still about 4 thou out. Now we're within about 2. Let's give that high jaw the business, and that should be good enough. And not quite. One more. About a thou and a half. All right, all we're doing on this part is facing and taking it to diameter. So it's a 3-inch chunk of stock. I want to take it to 2 3/4. And a little bit of go juice. So my kind of order of operations for standard turning stuff. When I'm facing, I like to, I guess I didn't say that when I did that. I like to tilt the tool post so it's got some pretty significant angle leading into the part. Turn my brake on, slow the machine down a little to 1740. Anyway, I like to turn it so I have that angle leading in. I'll take 15 thou on this first pass, and then make sure you can still see that. Then after I get a kind of the facing finished in, I'll use that clean new face to reset my tool post. I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a minute. So that almost cleaned up. Stop it and see how close we are. Yeah, just a little bit left to go. So I'm going to take another 15 thou. Again, this is not critical at all. I'm not going to a dimension or anything yet. Just cleaning up that face. Running 1740 RPMs and as fast as the feed will run on the hardened. All right, so we got a clean face. Now I'm going to re-loosen my tool post. It's got some swivel to it, and I, crank it up to where it clears the parts. And now I can kind of, I don't know if you can see that on camera or not, I can sort of push it up against that face to where it's, you know, like a positive stop, and now I know I'm square to the world, or my tool is square to the world. All right, so next, like I said, I got 3 inches of diameter here. I need to take it down a quarter. So I'm going to go in till I touch, zero my DRO, I'm back off about 20 thou. So backing off 20 thou gives me clearance where I'm not going to hit my tool. I have a DRO that you can't see, it's up there, just off camera. So I zero the Z on there. The hardened also has a dial on the Z, which is super handy. I'll get some B-roll footage and put it in right here. So yeah, I like using that dial. So I have kind of 2 zeros set just for sanity's sake, so I don't run the risk of running into the chuck jaws. So I'm going to touch off in low speed on the motor. The hardened has 2 speeds on the motor, kind of high and low. Let me touch off and I'll show you. All right, so I'm touched off there. So yeah, high and low. Just on the motor itself. This is separate from the variable speed drive. So there's over here on the tachometer. You probably can't see it, but there are 2 sets of numbers, the 2 different RPMs. So right now I'm running 580 in low. If I move this handle into high, now I'm running 1740. I actually want to slow that down a little bit to 1100. Zero my, there we go. Zero my Y. I'm going to take 100 thou off the diameter on this first pass. So 50 thou depth of cut, 100 thou off the diameter. Not the prettiest chip in the world. So I feel fine taking it in one pass. So we're looking for 750, and we are at maybe a tenth or two under. Yeah, tenth or two under 750. All right, so yeah, I need, what did I say, 2 inches? I need a 2-inch chunk here. I'm actually going to finish at 2 inches, so I need a little bit more. We'll go to 2 1/8. So I'm just scaling out 2 1/8, which is right there. I'm locking everything. I'm going to slow my machine down quite a bit. Oh, 200, see how that is. So parting can be fussy work. Aluminum's a lot easier than steel. Everybody's a hero in aluminum, but it still can be fussy. Getting the spindle speed right, the stick out right, how hard you feed it by hand, whether you hand feed it or power feed it, can be really tough. There it is. All right, I got to break down my vise setup. I have this fixture over here that I made for a 3-jaw. This is actually a 3-jaw that I got with the Hardenge. It came with, I think, 4 or 5 3-jaws. It was just stupid amount of 3-jaws. So I kept the best one and then sold off a couple, and I wound up keeping this one. Took the back plate off for future projects, but I made this adapter plate. These bolts are kind of captured in there by the chuck, but yeah, I made this adapter plate to mount up with the Saunders plate pattern, so I could use $3. Okay, yeah, $3, and then have a little lip to pull it off of there too. But yeah, just kind of a cool adapter plate to transfer my. Or transfer the Saunders plate pattern on here so that I can move this on and off and be fairly repeatable. Now, we need 3 short dowels, 1/2-inch dowels. And repeatability is really not even at all important on this because I'm only making one part. And I'm going to probe the whole thing in. But it's a nice function to have and good to kind of show how it works. All right, so we are down on those pins and our bolt holes are lined up. Jog over to that pip in the middle to kind of center it up. So the side that we faced in the lathe is down, so we know that that's flat and that finish is good. This side that's facing up right now is the one that we parted off. And my batteries are no longer dead. So this just checks each side of the part, moving half the distance of that diameter that I plugged in. So it touches off that front side, now it's going to touch off the back side, and it'll split the difference between those two numbers. So now we're centered up in Y, and it's going to do the same thing in X. Touch each side and split the difference. That's why I had to take that tape off, so the actual probe stylus is touching bare metal. So now I've probed in the center and bottom of the part, the center diameter of the part, and the bottom of it that's up against the chuck. All All right, so I'm just doing one toolpath at a time. I didn't have any of this programmed before. I just stopped and programmed it off camera. So I'm just going to kind of go through one toolpath at a time and program them as I go. So if I if I hit any wrong numbers or fat fingered anything, you guys will see it in real time here. All right, here we go. I'm gonna leave the coolant off. All right, so everything that you're going to see is going to be with this tool. This is a half-inch 3 flute with a 60-degree rad. I like on unproven programs. Seriously? All right, I did not have contributing to the blooper reel on my, whatever this is, third video on my bingo card, but yeah, I mean, kind of stuff happens, I guess. So I'll kind of explain what did happen. I went through this fixture, I don't know, like 2-3 weeks ago, maybe something like that. I took it apart and I put some anti-seize in between the fixture and the chuck face and cleaned everything up and whatever. I'm just kind of giving it a general once over. And there are 3 bolts that come up through the bottom of this plate that are countersunk that screw the chuck to it. And then it also registers on a little, I don't know, like a little turned feature that slides into the inside. Anyway, I didn't tighten the bolts, so it pulled the, I don't know if you can see it in the footage or not, but it pulled the whole chuck off of the plate. So anyway, made another one off camera, and we're gonna try this again, hopefully with better results. All right, quick look at op 1 is done. I'll take it out and show you too, but just kind of wanted to give you a perspective in the machine. Let's flip it over, get ready for op 2. All right, we're back over at the bench, and this part is done. So I kind of fast forwarded through a lot of that, but I wanted to go through and give you some of the sort of thinking and logic behind this. So this cutout is going to sit on the V-way of the lathe, and then the indicator is going to sit like this. See if I can line that up where you can see that. It'll kind of be an octopus. Yeah. So there's a through hole there. And then it's going to go through the lug on the indicator and tighten down onto this back wall. I have to make two fasteners or two bits of hardware. I have to make a square nut. Probably put a little radius in there that can slide up and down on here. And then I just have to make a I don't know, like a tube, like basically a washer, but one that's whatever that is. I think it's an inch and an eighth thick for a 1/4-20 bolt that's going to go through here. The reason I slotted both of these was I wanted to have some amount of adjustability up and down, so I could use different indicators with this same mount. I went through, and the face on this indicator is bigger, obviously, than my others, but some of these lugs are marginally different than the others, depending on even among the many Starrett indicators I have. Some of the older ones are slightly different than some of the newer ones. Some of the powder coating is a little bit thicker, so I wanted to make it adjustable. And then I can also use different brand indicators on there. But yeah, that's gonna get sucked down there tight and sit down on the ways of the machine. These two cutouts are for some rare earth magnets that I'm going to press and Loctite in there. And yeah, like I said, that's it for this part. I'm probably going to wind up tumbling this just to make it look pretty. It's gonna get beat up pretty bad just in general throughout its life. But yeah, I got to make those two bits of hardware next, and this project will be all done. Anyway, thanks again, guys. Appreciate you watching.